right, look at this sight. Landon Dickerson back at practice. Not even a minor knee surgery could keep this guy away from the NovaCare complex too long. And some reinforcements as well. Howie Roseman proving once again that offensive line is the team's priority. Plus, Jordan Davis came into camp 25 pounds lighter. We're going to hear what his mentor Brandon Graham had to say about the fourth-year pro. With that, we welcome you here to Birds Huddle, proudly presented by Toyota, the official automotive partner of the NFL, alongside Barrett Brooks. I'm Amy Fiddle, and good news, A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith both practicing today. Best sighting, though, had to be the guy we just showed you, and that's Landon Dickerson, just 2 weeks back after his minor knee surgery, back out there. So season opener now 8 days away. How encouraging is it to see him back out there doing what he does best?
I'll tell you what, I'm happy. I'm very happy. I'm happier than, I probably should be right now. Because Dickerson, him being back, really puts, an opening up of the offense. You won't have to run plays that, you don't have your starting left guard. I mean, just a little play like the tush push, probably our best play when we get down in the goal line. We can run the tush push with Landon Dickerson. That's a lot of weight that we can run behind. So, he's probably the best way to screw it, goes into the hole when you talk about coming off the rock and then having, Jalen Hurts follow behind him. Jalen Hurts is probably the happiest guy seeing him out there. Saquon Barkley, too, that has had to him. But I think the happiest person is Jordan Mailata.
Ooh, yeah. Jordan
having his, Batman and Robin being back together again. That gives them a better sense of, all right, we're back together. We can come off the rock. We can dominate on this left side. Hey, run whatever you want to run now because we have our starting left guard back in the fold.
That's always good to see everybody across that line that you're supposed to see there.
It makes it different because
it does make it different.
When you have, especially a guy, like Landon Dickerson, the Pro Bowler, you're talking about a guy that, 6'6", 330 pounds. Him putting his mitts on somebody, a defensive guard, is a lot. A defensive tackle is a lot different from having a backup in there. So, you can pretty much run the entire offense when you have him in there, and it's just going to be just a little more push coming off that rock. Cam's a little happy, too, but nobody's more happier than Jordan Mailata.
Absolutely. As we all pretty much assumed, Howie Roseman did make a few more moves following yesterday's roster deadline. One of the most notable, picking up offensive lineman Willie Lampkin after he was waived by the Rams. The Birds are taking a chance on an undrafted rookie, as Lampkin is. They've done this, though, many times in the past, and they've had pretty good success. Check out our three-point stance now presented by Toyota. First up, Roseman continues to prioritize the offensive line. Willie Lampkin played at Coastal Carolina and UNC, signed with the Rams after he went undrafted this year, but he suffered an injury in the second preseason games. Rams coach Sean McVay thought that Lampkin, he said, would likely miss a few weeks. So Barrett, seems like the best-case scenario for Lampkin to kind of recover, learn under Jeff Stoutland, and be picked up by the Super Bowl champs.
I'll tell you what.
Right? That's a real,
We talked about
Jason turned up your way.
Exactly. It's great for him that he comes in. It's going to be coached by the best offensive line coach in the league, the best assistant coach in the league. But, this is going to be one of those projects that we put him at the Stoutland University and see where he comes in. We always think of Kelsey being a small guy. Kelsey was small, but not that small.
Right.
He's like 6'3".
Yeah.
People understand he's like 6'3", probably 280.
Relative small.
290 pounds, almost 300 pounds. This guy is 5'11", 280, 285. But what I love about him is technique. He's low to the ground. He's built, he's only 5'11". So he has, power angles on everybody. It's going to be hard for those taller guys. I tell you what, in about 2 weeks, we'll ask Jordan Mailata, not Jordan Mailata, but Jordan Davis, how hard is it to go against a guy like that? Because he has natural leverage, but he plays with great effort. He comes off the rock. You can't really tell that he's that small by the effort that he gives and, all the movement that he creates on that line. But it is a size difference. When you get those bigger guys, those bigger tackles with a little more weight and have longer arms, it's going to be hard for him to play against that. But, hey, this is definitely a project that Coach Stoutland's going to take and just, mold this guy into another guy that can come out and play well at the position.
Family organization, that is what the Eagles are known as. They like to take care of their own. They also keep an eye out for players who endear themselves to the city. Offensive lineman Fred Johnson was brought back to the Birds after he signed with Jacksonville in March. This was the reaction to the reunion.
Oh, my God, I'm so excited, so ready. Just happy to be back in the city, happy to be back with this team, and continue to keep the train rolling.
What was your reaction when you heard about the trade?
I heard about the trade, and I kind of, was like, hey, if I go anywhere else, I'd rather go back to the Eagles. So you know, I was super happy, super excited. You know, I told my family, told my mom, told my son, and, you know, I was just ready to get out here. I almost asked to drive up instead of fly the next morning. So, you know, I was ready to get back.
He had a smile on his face the entire time.
You see this? This smile?
That's a dude that is
yeah.
genuinely stoked to be back here. You've been around this organization a long time. How rare is it to find an organization like the Eagles? It's run professionally, but also in a family way, a familial way.
You don't really find organizations like that. Usually it's about that dollar, and that's, you know, what they base their decisions on. Not saying the Eagles aren't like that, but they do take care of their own, even their own that leads away. I went somewhere else. They still brought me back into the fold. The mere fact that they brought Fred back is amazing to me because they got a solid backup tackle now. I was worried about the swing tackle. Who was going to be the swing tackle? Do we have a swing tackle on this team? We now have a guy that can play both sides and go out there and play well. He started a lot of games for us last year, played a lot of snaps for us last year. He was integral to keeping that offense going in the right direction, and we didn't have to worry about calling the offense any different because he's out there. Usually you have to do that. When you have a reserve guy in there, you can't go out there with the seven-step drops. That means that quarterback's going to have the ball a long time. But they didn't worry about it with Fred. Fred was good enough to handle that. And, you know, sometimes you just got to know your role. You know, my last 4 or 5 years of my career, I was a backup. I know Fred left and wanted to, you know, get a starting role somewhere. But, hey, if it didn't work out that way, come on back to the fold. This is a place where you can flourish. You could be an amazing player here. And that's exactly what is going to happen. He is going to be that reserve guy. I will sleep good tonight. Jalen Hurts will be sleeping good tonight, knowing that if somebody goes down, they have a reliable backup at the tackle positions. You got to protect those edges, and Fred Johnson being there is definitely great for us to have him there.
Absolutely. It's always good when the guy wants to be here.
Hey, you see him smile? He said he drove up from Jacksonville.
You what? Yeah, I'll drive. I'll pay for my own Uber up there. Defensive tackle Jordan Davis entering his 4th year in the league, looking to take on a bigger role both on and off the field. Beloved former Eagle Brandon Graham recently joined our John Clark on his Takeoff podcast, where BG talked about the 2025 version of Jordan Davis.
Something got him because he came back looking real good. It made me want to go back out there and just so that I can encourage him every day, because that's all you really need, man. I mean, for him, he's been through a lot. I've been through that. I know exactly what you're going through, and then something just clicked. And for him now, it's just going out there and making plays and not thinking about what you did, what happened before. It's all about what you do right now. And I think that Jordan, he has already showed that he's serious this year. Now you just got to go make the plays.
You might have seen it in the background of that shot. BG joining Kevin Hart and the Eagles as partner with Gran Curamino Tequila for the Birds this season. So that brings us to our stance 3. We love tequila and send it on. But actually, we're talking about Jordan Davis. He is ready for the moment. Lost around 25 pounds coming into the year. Seems to be taking his role as the longest tenured starter on defense very seriously. And that's what you want.
No question you want that. And I think this is why we drafted him. He's going to show us right now why he was picked. Was it pick number 16 in his draft in the first round? Mm-hmm. I think he turns around and becomes an every down player as opposed to just being a run stopper on first and second down. He turned out, last year, especially towards the end of the season, where he got him a couple sacks. He said, hey, I can rush the passer. I'm good enough. And then he comes in now in shape, ready to rock and roll. This is the perfect opportunity for him to go out there and make himself a little cash, too, because they're going to pay him accordingly. Yes, they picked up that option, but if you play well enough, they could tat it up and give you a new deal. I'm looking forward to seeing what he does this year, because I think this is the year in which he turns around and becomes that draft pick and that special player that we picked in the first round and becomes that every down guy. Oh, he might not come off the field on third downs. Maybe he stays in, rushes the passer. I think he can. Losing that weight shows the commitment that he's ready to ball this year.
I like it. Do you think that he has that contract kind of in the back of his mind? Because I know sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. They're just ready to kind of focus on it. But you got to be thinking about it, right?
My mind is always on my money and money on my mind. No question. It's on his mind.
Very well said. Very well said.
Give me the money. Give me the money.
Show me the money. And it's all about the money, and there's lots of things we can talk about, but it's also about playing. Hopefully Jordan Davis does that well this year. Time for the playbook presented by Supercuts. Coming up, we're going to break down the Birds and the Boys rivalry, explain why it is the best in the league. Plus, the roster is set, but there's still concerns about safety. Barrett weighs in on the rookie Drew Makuba, and Howie Roseman has a talent for finding diamonds in the rough. We're going to tell you which New Jersey product has joined the practice squad. That's all coming up next on Birds Huddle, presented by Toyota, the official automotive partner of the NFL.